Hi, my name is Dennis Tate. I'm very interested in joining the Liberal Party and becoming involved with them, but I have a problem with the recently put forward carbon shift plan. I believe, quite frankly, it's not going to work very well for Canadians or Americans or anybody else on the planet who live near the ocean. And I live near the ocean. My house is about 20 feet above sea level. I saw Mr. Al Gore's film, An Inconvenient Truth, 4 times, and that hockey stick style graph of the increase in world CO2 levels is in my mind there, and I'm thinking, since Canada produces 2.5%, specifically 2.4% of the world's CO2 emissions, what's going to happen if Canada does a carbon shift policy? What's going to happen to the hockey stick? That's going up almost straight, the increase in world global CO2 levels in the atmosphere. What's going to happen? Virtually nothing. The answer is virtually nothing. It will not stop global warming. Canada doing a carbon shift may move that hockey stick style graph a very minute amount, because the vast majority of CO2 emissions going into the atmosphere is coming from the USA, it's coming from India, it's coming from China, and unless they agree to a deal, all we can possibly do is set a good example. It's a nice idea, it has potential, it should be explored further, it should be talked about, but is it something that we can just go ahead with? I personally prefer the idea of greening the deserts. You combat global warming rather than by tackling CO2 emissions. You put more trees, more vegetation in the deserts. Grow food in the deserts. Desalinate water, pump it into the desert. That's a good one. I love the idea of implementing hydrogen fuel cell vehicles in dry desert regions of the earth to turn the deserts green. Why? Why would we do that? Because instead of going after CO2 as such an evil thing, because it's funny, CO2 is good for plants. Plants love it. Instead of going after CO2, let's go after the heat. Now, infrared images of the Earth show the heat is coming from where? They're coming from the deserts. How do we stop all this heat from coming from the deserts? Turn the desert green. Deserts that have been turned green, such as in the nation of Israel, don't produce so much heat. As a matter of fact, one nation on this planet has not had heating in its climate, it has had cooling. That's the very same nation that leads the earth in planting trees and in desalinating water, pumping it into the desert and turn the deserts green. That's Israel. So if you want to attack that CO2 level graph and really make an impression in it, turn the deserts green, grow food, instead of a carbon shift policy, get water into the deserts. Alter the world economy, alter the world banking system toward being able to fund the development of better technology to get away from our dependence on oil. Yes, we have to do that, and we'll have to put a lot of money into that, but as far as a carbon shift policy goes, won't work for Canada to do a green shift. No wonder so many people voted Conservative, and our Liberal leader, Stéphane Dion, he was very courageous. I admire him for coming up with the carbon shift idea. He got it from Ms. May. The problem is, it won't work very good for somebody living beside the ocean, because the major danger from global warming is rising world ocean levels if you live near the ocean. So let's have a better policy than a carbon shift when it has real flaws.